Hey, I'm Shay and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something a little different. We are going to pull a vlog from the vault. So I have filmed a lot of things over the last several months, and coming back to YouTube, I definitely wanted to share some of those things with you guys. And a super fun video that I got to do a little bit ago was my best friend chooses my TBR for a week. It was really fun because we have very similar reading styles and also completely opposite reading styles. And so I talked some about that in this video about kind of our Venn diagram of reading. So she definitely picked things for me that I would never have picked on my own. And so it was a really fun exercise in like exploring something that I might not normally gravitate towards. And I found some things that I really loved. So this is kind of the part one of that. I believe she picked 5 books overall, and this vlog covers the first 2 of those books that I read, because the vlog I think is about 30 minutes long. And I don't know how long of vlogs you guys want to see. So as I'm kind of getting my sea legs, I decided to just start with 30 minutes. If you guys enjoy this, I will totally put up the part 2 of me reading the second half of the books that she chose for me. But I hope that you enjoy this Bestie Chooses My TBR. I also wanted to do a little bit of like housekeeping, I guess, before we hop into this video and talk about why I'm in a completely different location and everything. You might not be able to tell because I've only been back for a couple videos, so I guess this could just be like another corner of my house. But actually, I'm in a hotel right now for a little bit. We are moving, and the time between the last house and the new house means that like we had to be in a hotel for a little bit. So I am doing like a Shay's summer vacation situation where I'm in a hotel in the city that I live in for a couple of weeks, but I'm treating it like I am a tourist and doing all the fun touristy things. So after this, I think in a week or so, you guys will start getting moving vlogs, and that's some of my favorite content to watch. So I hope you guys enjoy that and are able to look forward to that. But yeah, so you're about to see Bestie Chooses My TBR. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the first weekly reading vlog in a long time. This week, my best friend has chosen my TBR for the week. We do have similar reading styles, I would say. There's definitely a Venn diagram of overlap where we have a lot of stuff that falls in that middle category of things that we both love. But I would say whereas I lean more romance, she definitely leans more mystery, thriller, horror, kind of in that vein. I would say in the middle of that, we both read a lot of fantasy in all of its forms, a lot of adult fantasy, a lot of YA fantasy, a lot of romantasy. Like there are things that definitely fall in the center of our Venn diagram there, but where she departs to cozy mysteries, mystery thrillers, horrors, I depart to romances that allow me to just kind of escape. So I'm excited to find out what we have on our list this week for what we're going to be reading. We are going to text, find out what our list is. We're going to head over to Barnes & Noble and we're going to pick up any books that I don't have. We're going to get started on our reading for the week. Okay, so I will put our text conversation that we just had here, and so that you can see what we will be reading for this week. Let's go grab those. I can already tell by this list that we are definitely going heavy into that kind of mystery thriller vibe that I told you she enjoys more than I do usually. But I will say she has never recommended a mystery thriller to me that I didn't like. I would say that I like them, but they definitely have to be curated for me. Like I'm not a person that's just going to read a bunch of mystery thriller and see what I like and see what I don't. I will totally do that. I'm most like that, I think, with romances. I'll read whatever, and then if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. But I am a little bit pickier about fantasy, and then I would say I'm super picky about mystery thriller. So it's nice to have a curated list, a collection made just for me based off of my preferences from somebody who knows me really well. So I'm super excited because it definitely is a departure from my normal reading, but I think that these are things that I will probably enjoy. So let's go grab them. Okay, so I am 130 pages into Nosy Neighbors by Freya Sampson. My first pick of this Bestie Chooses My Reading for a Week vlog. And so far, so good. I'm actually really liking this. It has some tropes that I am just obsessed with, so I'm excited to get even further into it. And now where I am, I just found out that I might get a little bit of a sprinkle of romance in this. I was not expecting that at all, so I will be thrilled to see if we get like a little subplot. Like, it's not big in the plot at all, romance, but I love it when there's just a sprinkle of love in the air. So something that I love about this, a reason why I think that Liv might have suggested that I read this one, is that I am a huge fan of the kind of juxtaposition between an old woman, young woman, best friend situation. I love that they are both in this place of entering new phases of their life, or entering different phases, and they're experiencing what is really the human experience, each in their own ways. But the Venn diagram of where they overlap is kind of where we are in this book. And another book that I loved seeing that in is The Mostly True Story of Tanner and Louise. I'll insert a picture of that here. I really liked that book as well, and this kind of has those vibes. One of my most favorite tropes of all time is the everyone comes together in order to like support a person, or it's like, it also works for causes and everything. Like, I like to see when people come together to support a cause, but more so when someone is struggling or is really going through something, and a group of people, especially people that don't know them, like rally together to support them. That's something that I absolutely love. I will tell you that when I did a half marathon, I was the slowest person. 100%. I was the last person to finish the half marathon, and I walked instead of ran because I am not a runner. And as I was walking, everybody was turning around at the loop and running past me to go back to the beginning, like to cross the finish line, because the start and the finish were at the same area. And every person that passed me was like, "You can do it. Like, you're almost to the halfway point. Like, water is right up there. Getting so close." And every person that didn't know me passing and encouraging me was like the most just kind and squishy thing ever. And it just really pulled on my heartstrings. And this book so far kind of has that feeling of all rallying together for something that means something different to each of them, or rallying for something that they don't even really truly understand what it means to the other people, but they're all coming together for a singular cause. And I love that, like, it's so LT calls it, like, if you asked him what thing, like, what trope I was the most obsessed with, or how quick, like what thing could make me cry the fastest, he would call it the sportsmanship trope, like the idea of like everybody supporting each other, the good sportsman kind of mentality. And I do love that. And this has a lot of that so far. So I am noticing in my little viewfinder that I have been just smiling this whole time. So I guess I'm having a pretty good time over here. It is not at all what I expected. I was expecting it to be a little more Agatha Christie, a little more Hercule Poirot, like a little bit more of like a mystery, but it's more about the relationships in this book than it is about the mystery. And I love that the mystery is consistent in the background and driving the plot a little bit, but in a very organic and natural way. So you're not just focused on what's going on, and you do wonder what's going on, but I would say that it feels more character driven than plot driven to me. And I do love a good character driven piece of fiction. Like, I just, it has so much goodness just wrapped up in it. I would say that I am somebody who, like, so let's talk for a second about how I review or how I rate books, or what you can expect, because it's been a while since I've done that here. And I want to make sure that if you are wondering what that normally looks like, that you have a place where you can reference, oh, this is kind of what to expect. So I am somebody who, I think I've said already, I am somebody who reads based on vibes, truly vibes alone. Like, I am not somebody who is going to be able to quickly mark things off of a TBR or anything. I am very much a mood reader, and I read because I want to feel a certain way. Like, I want to leave the world I'm living in, and I want to feel differently than I do in my everyday life. And so sometimes the feeling I'm looking for is adventure. Sometimes it's comfort. Sometimes it is just turning everything in the outside world off. Sometimes I want something cozy. So I'm looking for a vibe, or like feeling a certain way in the book. A lot of times I'm looking for hope, or I'm looking for a paradigm shift on how I view the world. And those things come a lot for me through reading. And so I don't necessarily necessarily want someone to tell me, oh, this is a synopsis of the book. I feel very much like I am capable of going to Goodreads or grabbing the book and reading the back of it if that's what I'm looking for. But most of the time, I'm not looking for the content, I'm looking for the vibes. So I'm going to tell you about how I feel while I read through this so that you can tell if this is something you would want to read based off of the feelings, I guess. But I probably am going to stay away from most of the like giving you the synopsis piece so that if you want it, you can go and grab it. It's definitely easily accessible, but if you don't want it, that you don't have to try to skip around in the video and figure out if I'm going to say it or not. I won't, because I love going into things blind, just there for the vibes. So if you love that, I'm probably a good reviewer for you. A reviewer is like such a weird term. I'm just kind of living my life and including y'all with me by making the videos. But truly, I just am like, I would talk to a best friend about a book, sitting down, FaceTiming with you for a minute as we talk about what I'm loving and what I'm not loving in these books. So this so far has been a pleasant surprise. I expected to like it because I trust my bestie. I know she knows me. I know she knows the things I like. So I had high expectations based on trust, but I didn't have any idea, like any tangible expectations related to this. And I am definitely pleasantly surprised. So much so that I'm going to go and hop back into it because I am excited to know what else is going to happen. But this is just, these are stunning, like beautiful relationships. The characters are so rich and multifaceted, and I just really love getting to know them. And so I feel like this is a book that I'm reading because I want to spend time with the characters, not as much because I'm concerned about what the resolution of the plot is going to be, but I'm just having a good time out here, having a good time. Okay, so in this book, they are having a lot of tea. It's set in England, and there are a lot of like tea times, and they're brewing their first pot and their second pot, and it talks a lot about tea. And so of course I am in the mood for tea. If you are new here, I am a huge tea lover, and a big like tenet of this channel has been tea. So before I hop into making myself a fresh cup of hot tea, I thought I would do a quick little haul. I have this bag here. It's huge, blocking my whole screen. I have this bag here from the Smith Tea Company, which is a local tea company to me here in Portland. I went yesterday with my mom and had a tea flight and some snacks there, and it was absolutely delicious. And so I purchased some of the teas I tried there for the first time, and then I also got some things that I haven't tried but looked really interesting to me. So I thought I would do a quick tea haul of the latest tea that I've gotten. I would say I buy new teas quite often. So I wouldn't say a connoisseur, but I drink a lot of tea, and I will definitely tell you what I think about these as I try them. But first, I got this large bag of blackberry jasmine full leaf green tea. These are made to be brewed and put over ice, and it has some butterfly pea leaf extract in it, I think, and so it's supposed to be blue. So I'm excited to see what this looks like, and I'm also excited to taste it. When I was in the Smith Tea Company shop yesterday, they have like the loose leaf tea on little plates where you can pick it up and smell it to see if you would like the flavor, and this smelled unreal. So I'm excited to see what this tastes like. So that is the only iced tea I got. I then got this white petal, white peony tea. It was the first time that I tried it yesterday. It was on a Japanese like tea flight that came with all of these really delicious little Japanese snacks. And it was really tasty. I added a little bit of simple syrup to it at Smith's yesterday, and it was like the perfect amount of sweetness, delicious flavor. I love a good white tea. Black tea is definitely my favorite, but it has just a really clean, a little bit floral, just non-offensive, easy drinking, delicious tea, good for an afternoon cup of tea for me. And I actually might drink this today. This might be what I brew, but this is very, very tasty, and it's my first time purchasing that one. Next, it is the founder, Stephen Smith. I think it's either his birthday or it's like the anniversary of Smith Tea Company. I'm not sure which one it is, but they were giving out these little packets of his favorite tea for us to be able to try. And these are both the same. They just have one bag in them each. So they gave us each 2 bags. And this one is the Bungalow tea. So it says Happy Founders Week. So I don't know, again, what Founders Week is specifically, but this one is Darjeeling first and second flush, and it is, let me see, I'll read you the little synopsis of the tea. Not synopsis, this is not a book, this is a bag of tea, but on the front of the package it says, grown at high elevation in the foothills of the Himalayas, this blend of organic first and second flush Darjeeling teas produces a light yet exceptionally complex tea with the aroma and flavor of fruits, nuts, and flowers, complemented by rich, toasty, buttery notes, a tea of daily celebration. I was told that this is really good with cream and sugar, and so I'm excited to try Bungalow, and they do sell this in boxes, so if I like it, I will go back and grab a box. And then the last thing I got is one of my favorite things to get from Smith Tea Company, and it is their little sampler pack. So it comes in these cute little like canvas sacks, and you can pick any six of the teas that they have in individual bags to try. And this is probably the most common way that I try new teas from Smith. So let me pull these out. So I got a Portland breakfast. This is a tried and true for me. So whenever I get a sampler pack, I always grab an extra because we run out of this all the time. So it's always nice to just have an extra. I got the black lavender, which I haven't tried, but I'm really interested to try this. I like lavender in my Earl Grey. I like London Fogs with a little bit of lavender. So black tooth lavender just sounded good to me. I got Soothsayer, which is supposed to be for like if you have a sore throat or just wellness in general. It has echinacea in it, and as a child, echinacea was like the kind of heal-all vitamin that we would have, and so I have been taught that echinacea is really good when you don't feel well. I feel like here in Portland, a lot more people use elderberry in that same way, but I just grew up with like echinacea being the go-to. I got a peppermint leaves. This is because this is one of my most consumed teas. Almost anytime I want something that is caffeine-free, I'm gonna first reach for some peppermint leaves tea, and I'm almost out of my box of this, so I just grabbed an extra in case I run out. And then I got 2 of the empowerment teas, and these ones are for like women's health. They have raspberry leaf, nettle, cacao nibs, red clover, ginger, damiana, I don't know how to pronounce that, peppermint, rose petals, and dried stevia leaf. And this is supposed to be just really good for women's health in general. And so I thought this would be like a fun thing to try. Yeah, I will let you know how these taste or turn out. I actually think I might make a simple syrup really quickly because yesterday having the simple syrup at Smith Tea Company with this was so good. And so I think I might do that. And yeah, so let's have some tea and then keep working on our book. Hello, so I am back with an update. I just finished Nosy Neighbors by Freya Sampson, and so I am here to talk about it. I don't know if I'm ready to rate this yet. I was going to say it's a whatever star read, but I don't even know if I am there yet. This was surprising to me in so many ways. It didn't read as much like a mystery thriller as I thought it would. It definitely was cozy. It read a little bit more almost literary fiction to me. I don't know. It was a lot like this is a book about the characters for sure. There are things happening, like there's a plot, obviously, but it is not really super about that. I don't even know. Like, I'm like, I want to talk to y'all about it because I just finished it and it's fresh in my mind. And so I want to say, this is what I think about it, or this is what I feel about it. But I don't even think I've landed on like what I think or how I feel yet. I will tell you what type of mood I would be in if I were going to pick this up. Like this would be for a time where I was looking to remember that there's beauty in the human experience. It would be a time where maybe things felt really overwhelming for me and I needed to remember that like there are things that feel like they are going to be the biggest things to ever happen in your life and that they take up every ounce of your thoughts and your feelings and your anxiety, and everything is just consumed by this experience. And when those things happen, sometimes it's so hard to remember or have perspective on the fact that everything is temporary, that like things change and will change, and that even when you feel stuck, you're not exactly stuck. And I think that in this season of my life, that was definitely like a message that I needed. But I feel like this, more than anything, is a book about like the human experience. And from so many different characters and so many different perspectives, you get to see how one event impacts so many different lives, and how for a lot of people it felt like what felt like the end of the world was the beginning to a beautiful story. And so I feel like this is a book, if you are looking for something that is character driven, for sure. If you are looking for maybe a little bit of perspective shift on like something that you're going through, I feel like this is a good thing for that. I don't know what box to put it in or how to say what I thought about it. My eyes are watering so bad. The allergies in Oregon are like on another level today. I think that before I went into it, I had some expectations, and it literally was nothing that I thought it was going to be. This is why I stay away from like reading the synopsis most of the time, because I don't like the feeling of like expecting one thing and getting something different. And I didn't read the synopsis for this, but for some reason it just, I don't know, like was nothing that I expected it to be. So maybe I'll come back and rate it at the end if I come to a rating. But yeah, I'm glad that I read it. Okay, so next, I think I'm going to go get slightly more fantasy as I move on. So this definitely, I feel like, would be the least of my fantasy reads. I feel like next we're going to go into Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, because this seems like it's going to be in the same vein of what I just read. Like, I feel like this is the closest to that. And then I think from there, we'll slide into Bless Your Heart, and then we'll finish up with Spark of the Everflame. So I am excited to hop into this. This feels to me like it's going to be another short read. I read this definitely in 24 hours. I don't know. Like, it wasn't all, I finished it this morning, started it yesterday afternoon. So it was like a one day, pretty easy read. This is feeling like it's going to be similar. So my plan is to start this today, thinking I might finish it tomorrow morning or so. And I will update you as soon as I have an update on that. I am back with a little middle of the night update. It is like 11 o'clock at night-ish, and I just finished this book, and I read it pretty much in a sitting. I was FaceTiming with Olivia, and because we were going to do like sprints together or whatever. We didn't. We just talked for 2 hours. So I got off the phone with her and I was like, oh, it's already evening. Like, do I want to actually start this and jump into it or not? And I was like, well, I'll just read a little bit. And it sucked me in so quick. And then I ended up reading the whole thing in pretty much one sitting. So for those of you that know me, you know that I'm a sucker. Even from this video alone, there's been so much tea in this video already, but a cozy mystery surrounding a tea shop, right up my alley. So I loved the setting of this. I loved the found family of this. I feel like this for me defined like, oh, this is what a cozy mystery is supposed to feel like, because I feel like there was not any one part that was overshadowed by another part. Like, the characters in this, a lot of them were pretty well developed, and I love the found family trope that we had going on in this, but also the mystery was engaging. You wanted to know what happened. I feel like the resolution was feasible. Like, it wasn't something like sometimes like you'll see a mystery resolved and at the end it's like something that you could not have come up with. Even if you like looked at all the clues or whatever, you were not going to come up with like it was aliens or whatever. It wasn't like that. Like by the end it was feasible, but it wasn't something that was like easy to guess or that you like had figured out in the first chapter. So it was engaging the whole way through. There are so many funny moments in this. It is so culturally rich, like all of the foods and types of teas and the way that they're roasted and everything that is so just clearly, I don't even know how to phrase it, kind of the quintessential things that you think about when you think of cozy, when you think of tea, when you think of rich cultural history in our food. I am first generation American, and so it is so fun to read about, even though this is not my culture, to read about kids and the issues that they experience with their parents when they are the first ones that are born in the States and everything. So it was relatable to me in that way. I just like really had a good time with this. I will say some of the issues that I had here were we had a lot of different character perspectives, and while I do feel like they were pretty well developed, so you did want to see success for these people, a lot of the overlap was with our main character Vera, so I feel like you really fall in love with her and with her little tea shop, and with just, you can see that there are so many places where she just needs connection, and so you really are rooting for her to get that connection throughout this book. But the way that the other characters' points of view are sprinkled in are not as fleshed out as I would have liked to see, because there are some big moments that happen here, and I feel like if I were a little bit more connected to some of the side characters, the big moments would have hit a little bit harder. But I feel like that's difficult to do in the amount of pages this is with the amount of perspectives we had. I don't even know how many we had, but I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 or 6-ish perspectives, which is a lot of different perspectives for a book that's essentially 300 pages. Like, so it made it to where we didn't get as much character development in some of these characters as I would have liked to see. But with what we did get, I was rooting for them when good things were happening. I was crying for them when bad things were happening. But more than anything, I loved each person's individual relationship with Vera. I think that that was probably the coolest part of this. I will say in the last book, I was more attached to the characters than I was to the plot for sure. In this book, I feel like it was the perfect balance of character versus plot driven. Like, the mystery was definitely engaging, but so were the characters, and it kept me hooked. I think I'll come back and rate these all at the end because my brain is like shutting down for the night, I guess. So I don't know what I would rate this. And it's also hard to rate these because a part of what I'm doing when I'm rating something is comparing it to where it ranks in the type of books like this that I've read. So like, I'm not gonna usually rate like a romance up against a fantasy book because they just don't have the same elements, and so it's apples to oranges. So I'm gonna compare romances to romances, and in this case, cozy mysteries. But I don't read a lot of cozy mysteries, so I don't know what I like or where it would land on that scale, since I don't really have a scale developed for that. So I think I need to just sit on what my rating is, but it was engaging enough for me to read this in one sitting. So would I recommend it? Totally. I feel like this is for a rainy day with a cup of tea, sitting in your library chair, maybe a little ASMR room on in the background. Again, I feel like this is a good book for if you're wanting connection or wanting to bask in the way that human connection works, to see what found family looks like, but not in an overly complicated way. I feel like sometimes when we have found family and things like fantasy books, it will take a long time for you to be able to appreciate what's happening in the found family because you're trying to learn the world and you're trying to learn the magic system and you're trying to learn the language and all of these things that are introduced in fantasy novels. I feel like you can go into this with no background and have that same warm hug of found family without having to do so much legwork up front. So I feel like this would be good for that. But yeah, I loved this, and it kind of put me in more of a reading mood. So now I just want to keep reading, even though we are definitely coming up on bedtime. My next book on the docket is Bless Your Heart. I don't know if this is a book you start before bed. I don't know. This one was classified as horror when I went to find it in Barnes, and so now I'm like, do I want to start like a horror book before? But Olivia classified this as cozy. So this will for sure be my first ever cozy horror. I might start this, or I might take a quick break from Olivia's picks and do just a like palette cleanser of a romance. I got an advanced listener's copy today of one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and I want to do a vlog for that also, so maybe I'll do that. I don't know, but I will say that the Vera Wong book definitely put me in the mood to like read something bingeable, because that felt bingeable to me. So I am going to go hop in bed and hopefully just pick up something that I can work on for a little bit before I go to sleep, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow. That's all for part one of Bestie Chooses My TBR. If you guys want to see me read the other 3 books that she suggested in this video, please let me know in a comment down below. Or if you want us to do a completely different version of this where she chooses a new TBR for me, like more in her vein, maybe books that came out more recently, let me know, because that's something that I would definitely love to film for y'all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!